How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about the latest in the DC universe, or at least what it is right now at this moment. When I went into this movie, I was really excited to see Shazam once again. We haven't seen him for a while, so to see him back on the screen was really going to be awesome, and especially also seeing what DC is trying to build from here. It's been a minute, and I see what they're trying to develop over time, and I think Shazam is definitely one of those characters that can definitely bring DC into a higher tier of superheroes. I mean, look at what Joker, look at what the Batman, like all these things that are surrounding DC. They're more capable enough to do something like this. But I gotta say, with this one around, it did not hit the mark at all. I felt like a lot of this movie was kind of slow. Half of the movie was, just kind of picking up the pace, and it didn't even feel like these people really believed in the movie. There was a lack of confidence in it. We spent majority of the time kind of developing these new characters, and I feel like this is what DC universe kind of has its faults in, is that they only invest into the one movie and try to shove all these characters in front of you and kind of just give you small little kind of details behind them, where as in before you see Marvel developing entire movies behind these characters. So I just feel like this is once again what Black Adam failed to do. A lot of these characters are coming out of nowhere. We have no backstory behind them, and the backstory we do get is very minimal. Whereas in Shazam, we have already a movie with him. We have a movie with all the characters and his brothers and sisters that are with him, and we kind of already know what's going on with him. But as far as like exploring the enemies and exploring what is going on with them, it kind of feels like we're trying to crunch in a lot in a short amount of time. I felt like this movie lacked so much confidence in itself that they should have went back and rewatched the first Shazam and said, "Hey, this we did a great job with this one. It was amazing. Let's try to replicate that here." But because so much time has passed since the first one, I don't know if they felt like they needed to recapture the people into these characters, when in reality they shouldn't have done that. I felt like Shazam itself stood tall in all the superhero movies, and they should have understood that, and they should have had the belief in themselves to kind of keep going with that. Whereas in the second one, it's kind of like, hey, let me retell what's been going on. It has been a minute. I'm gonna kind of do this and do that. It just felt kind of like waste of time, where we could have just maybe developed maybe the enemies a little more. We could have maybe developed the relationship between them. I think, okay, overall, I do think that the relationship between the brothers was at a good place. I think we kind of understand a little bit of who they are and what they're about. They've kind of grown a little more, but they still have that core value in them, where all the other surrounding characters maybe could have done a little bit more of like knowing exactly what they would want to do here. A lot of the characters and villains behind the story did not feel fulfilling. It did not feel like, oh, I needed to be scared of them. It didn't feel like there was much at cost here. This time around, Shazam is kind of struggling with like maybe being too impulsive at times, and maybe lacking the wisdom. They go throughout the movie talking about how he's not really thinking things through. He doesn't really like understand the consequences behind his actions, and that was kind of like a plot point throughout the movie that was able to be resolved through the end, but it didn't feel like the cut was too deep. It just felt like it was just something that was going through the movie, but it didn't feel rewarding at the end. It actually felt more rewarding at the end when he became a superhero. He decided to sacrifice himself, and it felt like he was just kind of gonna do that anyways. It didn't make such a difference. It did, like, remember in Spider-Man, right? There's a moment in Spider-Man where he loses powers because he doesn't believe himself to be capable enough. He loses his like abilities, and he goes through this whole entire like trying to regain himself and trying to reposture himself, where as in Shazam, he still was a superhero. He still was doing the things he was doing regardless of what he might have felt. And I think that was kind of an unfortunate point there. They could have even dug deeper. Not to say that everything was bad. I did definitely enjoy the relationship between the brothers and sisters. You could really see that it grew more over time, which was amazing. I do gotta say, I do think that the enemy design was pretty good. I think all the bad guys and kind of like the dragon and all the other mythical creatures were pretty designed pretty good. I think that their CGI was amazing, kind of the fights and even the unicorn. And that's another thing. I cannot believe that Skittles was one of the reasons that they were able to tame this mythical creature. Like, that was the way they did it. Like, this movie was filled with ads. It was filled with a bunch of product placements. Like, I did not understand why they needed to do that. That was just kind of weird and kind of too much at times. And for it to be one of the reasons that they're able to kind of defeat the enemy and take control of the area, like I don't think that that was like good writing there at all. They could have maybe came up with something a little bit different. This movie definitely had glimpses of hope all through the movie, but they were not able to capitalize on that, and they were not able to produce something that I feel was good enough. And that's why I gotta say this movie was not that good. There's a lot that they could have done with the story. There's a lot of things if they just had confidence, if they just had a little bit more better writing, less ads, maybe develop a little bit of the enemies a little more, maybe take half of the movie was catch up, half of the movie was set up, and it was just kind of like at the point where the end didn't even feel that much rewarding, and the struggle that Shazam had, I didn't feel like it really affected it. The bad definitely overshadowed the good. So I'm gonna be giving this movie a 6 out of 10. But I definitely want to know what you guys think about Shazam. Make sure you let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. Make sure you smash that sub button, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.